Awesome. Awesome. I believe we are live. Well, hey guys, it is Jeremy Krolakowski here, and I've got another awesome show planned for you guys today. Today, we're going to be talking about money stress and health. So, we're going to talk about 3 simple ways to end the money stress and to take back your health and to do it very quickly so that you can start to get that vitality back in your life, the energy back in your life, that healing back in your life. And before we dig into this, guys, I want to just ask you if you're watching this, I want to ask, have you ever woken up and just wondered how much stress is really affecting your life? And by your life, I mean specifically on this live, we're going to be talking about your health. Like, have you ever thought, I wonder if the fact that I'm not sleeping, I wonder if the fact that I have higher blood pressure, or I wonder if the fact that I'm gaining weight, or I wonder if the fact that I'm short of breath, or I wonder if the fact that I'm noticing some different different fatigue issues that are going on, or that some even just some anxiety, some mental health, sort of related to stress, or if I wonder if the fact that again there's all the like we talk about some autoimmune different things or heart things or different things you're having to go on medications. I wonder if that has anything to do with stress and specifically money stress. Now, any of you guys that are watching this, you know that stress is one of the primary, leading causes of disease and things like that, that you get the stress out of your life and it frees up your body on so many powerful ways to be able to heal and do what God intended it to do. But I just want to ask, like, have you ever just woken up or gone to bed just wondering that? Like maybe you find yourself again fatigued and like you're taking coffee, you're taking the pills, you're doing the 5 hour energies, or you're doing whatever it is you got to do, you're eating ice cream or whatever way you can get a quick sugar boost or things like that. But even that, or even the exercise, like it's just not really helping. Or maybe you find yourself on edge. Maybe you find yourself snapping more quickly, at your spouse or at your kids or things like that. And it's like, this isn't really me. This doesn't feel like me. Why do I feel so short tempered? I don't know what it is, but you just find yourself exhausted and fatigued. Like you can't think straight. If you ever found yourself feeling cloudy brain, things like that, or maybe like even you're at a point in your life where you're having to take medications. Maybe you're taking medications for things that you're like, man, in my 20s or 30s, I never in a million years would thought I would be on these medications, whether it's antidepressants, anti-anxieties, whether it's, blood pressure, heart medicine, whatever the heck it is, like thyroid medicine. We have a lot of women that we talk to with different autoimmune and thyroid issues from a lot of the stress related stuff. It's like, maybe you never thought you'd be on these medications, or maybe you're just finding your like head hurting more often, or your stomach, or even like a chest, like an elephant on your chest, or like an elephant on your shoulders, or just you feel like your body's breaking down. And it feels like some of the things that you experience, whether it's just that fluttering of the heart, the palpitations, or the stomach sickness, or that nausea, whatever it would be, it feels abnormal. It feels too often. It's like, part of you is like, okay, I know that it happens, but you're like, okay, is it normal to have it happen that much? Like bowel movements that happen that frequently that are like that. Like, I'm not going to get into the details, but that kind of thing. Or again, like heart racing when you're just lying in bed and you're not even moving. You're like, this doesn't seem normal. And so, no matter how, whether you can relate to any of those guys, no matter how stress is popping up, though, like it is stressful. It is stressful, duh. The stress is stressful, but you know what I mean? Like, no matter how often you experience some of those symptoms, like it is stressful. It hurts. It's painful. It's not fun. And it is scary. I've personally had some major bouts with stress in the past. I ended up getting Lyme's disease. And guys, like I thought I was gonna die. I mean, I thought I would just at one point I told Kirsten, I was like, I just almost want them to sedate me, just put me in the psych ward because I felt like my body was totally shutting down. And looking back, most of it was stress related. I mean, it was like leading up to that, which led me susceptible. And then what was crazy is like once I started to get the strategies and the tools and some of the things that now we ended up teaching is, once I started working through those, like the stress started going away and then my body actually started to heal. And now like I don't have any symptoms of any of that kind of stuff, but I had so much stress built up that my body was just going bonkers. It was going haywire. I mean, I've had anxiety attacks, all these sorts of things, stuff that I never dealt with really in my life, and thought that was, I thought that was just for people that had all these other issues and things like that, or came back from war, with crazy PTSD or whatever it would be. Like, I didn't realize like that anybody could just have that stuff happen. But guys, like when you're stacking stress on stress on stress on stress on stress on stress, it's kind of like, Jenga blocks. It's like, every time you pull one of those things out, every time you add a stressor to your life, it's like, it's one of those things where eventually it just comes crashing and we all crash. And guys, like, the reality is that if you're watching this right now, I want you guys to realize we're going to talk about the 3 simple ways to fix this, but I want you guys to realize again that money stress, if you really think about it, if you really think about like all of the ways that like money affects your life. Like when you have money, it's like you can buy the food that you need. When you have money, you can buy the medications that you need. You can pay for the doctor's visits that you need. You can get the physical therapy that you need. You can get the personal training that you need. You can do so many of the things, like you don't have to say no as often. You don't find yourself fighting as much. You don't find like you can take more time to vacation. You can take more time to R&R. And guys, there's so many different things that if you really think about it, when you've got your finances under control, and like you and your spouse are like rocking in your connection, or even if it's just you and you're single, and it's like, and you're just feeling powerful, you're feeling like you're doing well, there's no, you got a big emergency fund, you got no debt, things like that, guys. What I can just tell you is like, there's really, when you have that, like when none of that drama and money stresses in your life, there's not a whole lot to be stressed out about. Like, let's just be honest. Like, stress pretty much like it becomes a very minimal part of your life. And once that happens, guys, it's crazy how many times you see people that get in a situation like that, and so many of the physical ailments just start to dissipate. They just start to go away. Like, for instance, sickness. Like, I used to get sick all the time. I haven't gotten sick, and I can't even remember the last time. Like, but it was a matter of getting the stress out of my life. Same thing for my family, even things like that for my kids. Like, my kids, like, really, like, hardly ever get sick. I think we've had, like, on count on one hand how many times we've seen, like, probably less than one hand, like how many times we've seen them get seriously sick. And a lot of that was because of our energy, right? Like, when we're stressed out, like, or when we're not living in a stress state, it's like, you notice that your kids end up, it totally changes the way that they show up in life. They're more pleasant, they're more excited, they're more happy because we are, right? It's like, we're not snapping as much, we're not stressed out as much, things like that, guys. And it's just really powerful. So, guys, again, if I have to bring this up because, and we're going to talk again about the ways that we're going to fix that. But, guys, honestly, I have to bring this up because I'm noticing this as a theme with so many different people, that like there's adrenal fatigue happening. It's like there's high blood pressure, there's autoimmune, there's pre-diabetes, there's all of these different things, guys. And what we're finding is that and you guys know this just from the studies, but we're finding more and more people that have already had the cancer or the heart attacks or the strokes or some of the things that stem from that happen, that are even reaching out to us going like, hey, I know that if I don't fix this, it's probably going to lead to this. But Jeremy, honestly, this isn't my first rodeo with this. This is my second, and we're talking to people that've already had the stroke, the heart. I'm talking about people, guys, in their late 40s, their early 50s, that, people that have had cancer in their 20s and 30s. And again, obviously not every single component of even like a cancer is necessarily like revolving around stress. There are other things like that. But in terms of, guys, if you really look at it, like stress, again, all of the studies and the different things, like in terms of leading like causes of disease and things like that, guys, stress, you cannot ignore it. So you can pop the pills, you can do the surgery, you can do a juice cleanse, or do all these different things to try to numb it and suppress it. But what we're finding is that, guys, like people do that for so often, and eventually like your body is just like realizes that like it's being duped. It's kind of like, yeah, nice try, still gonna do it anyway, still gonna wave the the white flag of surrender, and give you that big warning sign, because like it just can't take it anymore. Like it's tired of it. And guys, really, the thing is like, you guys, if you're watching this, that any of this stuff that you're trying to do to medicate the pain and stuff the pain and ignore the stress, it's just a big band-aid anyway, right? And so, guys, like I want to talk about this because all of these surface fixes, like they're buying you time, like, but really, guys, that deep down, like you have to address the root issue. You have to address the stress. So what can we do, guys? Well, the first thing I want to say in terms of like all of the ways that you guys can start to heal the stress and like get it out of your body and start to fix this, the first thing you have to do, and don't laugh because it's very simple, but it is acknowledge it. It is acknowledge it. And guys, after speaking with hundreds of couples every year, I can tell you guys, it might sound simplistic, but I can't tell you how many times I talk to people where they're just absolutely la 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 la. It's not that bad. It's not that bad. It's okay. It's okay. I trust in God. Everything's fine. Everything, God's got me. It's all right. God's got a plan. I trust the Lord. I'm going to throw a Bible verse on it, and I'm going to try to ignore it. And I'm going to stuff my head in the sand. I'm going to just watch TV and suppress it and cope and do all these different things. I'm not going to pretend like it. We pretend like it's not there, but you have to acknowledge it. You have to acknowledge that there is stress in your life. When I go back and I think about when I got Lyme's disease, when I really thought about it, afterward, I thought, you know what? I was super stressed and I wasn't acknowledging it. I mean, I was growing a garden. We had like thousands of plants in our basement that I was starting. I was like crazy, probably like, it's probably like, I don't know if there's like, I don't know anybody that's ever grown that many plants in their basement at one time. We literally had thousands of plants, like, peppers and tomatoes. I was managing that. I was managing a full-time job. I was managing a business that I was building. I was managing like, some outdoor repairs in our house. Like I had so many things going on, and I wasn't giving myself credit for it, like, for it. And I wasn't acknowledging like the fact that I was overwhelmed. I noticed, like, even looking back to the few months leading up to that, I would find myself, I would wake up kind of like with this thing where I thought like I was having like a heart issue. At one point I went and got heart testing because I thought maybe I was having like heart attack or something like that. So guys, like looking back, I realized I was just stuffing it and ignoring the fact that, listen, I've got a problem. I have a problem. And I talked to a lot of different people, and especially moms, you're so good at it. But moms, like, like most moms, like they don't want to let their kids know how bad it is. They don't want to let their spouse know how bad it is. A lot of people don't want to let, it's like even men, a lot of men don't want to let their wives know how bad it is, how stressed they are. I was talking to a really sweet guy this week, and it's like his wife had cancer before, and he's like, I don't like bringing it up because I don't want to see her get stressed, again. And it was like, and I totally get it, but guys, the reality is that at some point, if you continue to ignore the stress and protect your kids, protect your family from it, guys, at some point it's going to just hit so hard. And it's like, that's where it's like, now your family, it's like, if you really want to talk about a stress is like having to see their mom or dad go through a heart attack. And we talked to someone a couple of weeks ago who had that happen already. Stress is like having to get the diagnosis that it's stage 2 or stage 3 or 4 cancer. The hard thing that's really going to hit them upside the head and be difficult is going to be the stroke that's unexpected, and it's during a party or dinner or whatever it would be, and ultimately not even having you around anymore to be there for them. So guys, I'm saying this from a place of, if you really want to love your family, and if you really want to love, the idea of living longer, guys, you have to first of all just admit it, just acknowledge it. I am stressed. Wave your white flag. I don't have a white flag around here, but just wave the surrender flag and just go, I am stressed. This is not working. I am not having fun with this. This stress, it is debilitating. And I've even talked with, I've talked to a lot of women, recently, some women, again, I'm not just stereotyping women. I'm saying it's the same with men too, but I'm just saying recently I've talked to some ladies who it's like, my spouse just doesn't want to be a part of the solution. They don't really care. And it was like, okay, I can get it, but do they really know? Does he really know? Or does she really know? Right? For a man, does she really know how bad it really is? How much it's really affecting you? How many times you're waking up in the night? How many hours of sleep you're losing? Like what your blood pressure actually is, what your doctor actually said, right? Well, how many pills you're having to take to medicate it, and how many Tylenols, how many Advils, how many whatever it would be. Do they really know? So guys, I'm just saying, like, we can talk about all the fancy schmancy like strategies and specific things, and we're going to talk about what we can do here in a second a little bit more clear. But guys, honestly, this is the most clear that we can start with, is you've got to acknowledge it, get it out there. And guys, honestly, like even if you think about shame, guys, shame breeds in darkness. And guys, it's the same thing with stress. Like stress breeds when you're stuffing it, when you're just pretending it's not there. Just saying it, talking to your spouse, getting it out there and saying, hey, listen, and somebody that you love saying, listen, this is where I'm at. I'm having a mental breakdown. My body is breaking down. I'm losing sleep. I feel like I'm going to snap. I'm going to go crazy if I don't fix this. Just say it. And guys, just by saying it, you'll notice that you just feel so much relief. Like for a lot of you guys, like when it comes to, like we've talked to people, it's like you've got bills on bills on bills. You've got all these credit card bills, medical bills, and you haven't looked at them. You've been stuffing them under your bed for months. One of the greatest gifts you can give yourself, and I know it seems like counterintuitive, but one of the greatest ways to remove the stress is just to look at it. Because if you don't, then it's literally like you've got the boogeyman under your bed and you're like, you don't know how big he is, right? Is he like a little troll size, or is it like gorilla size? Like, does he have a machete and a machine gun, or does he just have a little toothpick? Like, what is like, how dangerous is this thing? And once you just look at it, even once you look at it, you're like, okay, yeah, well, he's got one arm and he's got, a little machete and whatever. And it's like, well, at least I know that now I can combat it, how I can deal with it. But just by getting it out there and looking at it and just getting it out there to, to your spouse, somebody that you love, and just by addressing it and seeing it and facing it for what it is, facing your demons, facing your giants, just doing it, guys, I'm telling you, you're going to feel so much. Okay. All right. Here we go. Like, where do we go from here? Right? Like just getting it out there and saying it. So the first thing, guys, is just acknowledge it. Don't minimize it. Don't suppress it. Don't deflect it. And the second thing, so that was number one. The second thing, guys, is you need to acknowledge the coping mechanisms. Acknowledge all the ways that you're coping with stress, which usually in and of itself, those are usually actually causing even more of the stress. And it's usually affecting your physical health as well. So if you're drinking, if you find yourself drinking a lot, and again, I don't care if you're the most pious Christian out there. I've talked to so many people where you're like, you know what? I'm probably drinking a little bit too much. Even if you're not getting drunk, you could be drinking too much. You're eating junk food, you're eating fast food, or you're just eating, you're overeating, you're gaining weight, to try to cope with it. Guys, again, I'm not judging. We're all human. We all have ways that we deal with stress, and most of them are typically not healthy. They're not healthy for our mental health, and they're not healthy for our physical health. Right. So acknowledge the coping mechanisms, guys. Another thing, again, it could, not just on top of food and things like that, but the medications, like what medications are you doing? What pills are you popping? What things are you realizing? You know what? I'm just suppressing it. I'm not dealing with it. I'm deflecting it. I'm ignoring it, but I'm not addressing the root issue of the stress. And I'm not dealing with that. And guys, so again, acknowledge the coping mechanisms. Is it, again, even like you might say, well, how does stress shopping, or how does, doing things like that, how does that make it worse? Or how does just scrolling Facebook or Instagram make it worse? Well, guys, even those, like for your mental health, like it continues to cause even more mental health issues. You cause more depression, more anxiety, things like that. Because usually what those things do is, scrolling Facebook and Instagram, just for one, it wastes a ton of time, which could be used to getting out of the situation. So then that causes more stress, because you find yourself like feeling like you never have time to fix it. But the truth is you are, but you're not, but you're just coping because you don't know what else to do, because you don't know how to deal with the stress. So that's the first one. But again, even just spending, guys, if you're overspending or stress shopping or buying things off Amazon or Target or doing a little retail therapy, guys, again, we're all human. I've done it, right? You find that ultimately it puts you even further behind, which causes even more stress on you financially, which again leads to all those other unhealthy ways that we cope physically, and again causes more of the physical stress in our bodies. And guys, when your bodies are in fight or flight, when your bodies are in stress, guys, your immune system is suppressed, and a lot of the things that you're dealing with, guys, you cannot heal. You cannot heal when your blood's rushing to your extremities, when you're not able to, your body's not able to focus on like protecting your organs and healing your body, guys. When you're in a state of stress, guys, so many of these issues, let's just be honest, like your body could heal so much better, 1,000 times better for some of you guys, if you could just remove all the stressors and just give your body a chance to just focus on what it does best, which is building up your immune system, which is healing the organs and the parts of your body that need healing, and just focusing on you, and not just survival, but thrive. And guys, that's really the biggest thing, is like, you have to, first of all, again, just not acknowledge that it's there, but you have to acknowledge the coping mechanisms, all of the ways that you are just deflecting and ignoring and trying to suppress it through some of these ways to deal with stress. Again, guys, I'm not judging any of you guys. Again, the reality is like, I've done it. We've all done it. We're all human. But acknowledge, what are the harmful ways that I'm doing this, right? Even if it's affecting your intimacy with your spouse and things like that. Some of you guys, but whether it's pornography or it's doing other different things, it's like, guys, ultimately, again, that is causing even more stress. It's causing more guilt. It's causing more shame. Again, guys, when you're living in guilt and shame, again, your body, it's like it puts you in depression, it puts you in anxiety, all of these different things. And guys, again, it suppresses your body's ability to heal, to focus on itself, and to be able to do that. And again, you find yourself reaching for all of these other ways. Okay, when you feel stressed from some of that and the guilt, then again, that's where you're reaching out to food, or that's when you're reaching out to medications or alcohol or drugs, whatever it would be. Guys, it's just human nature. It's what we do as human beings. Like, it's unfortunate, but it's just, guys, living in a fallen world, being people that are sinful. It's like, that is just the reality of what happens. Okay. So the first thing, guys, step one is acknowledge the stress. Acknowledge the stress, right? That it's there. Don't minimize it. Don't suppress it. Acknowledge it for yourself. Face your giants, and then ultimately get it out there. Like I said, by ultimately sharing it with the person that you love. The second thing is, again, guys, like we talked about, acknowledge the coping mechanisms, acknowledge all the unhealthy ways that you are dealing with the stress, and just face it for what it is. Like, don't like sit here and just beat yourself up for days. Like, we're going to talk about what to do next, but guys, that's the second thing. Okay. And number three, guys, the third way, like very simple way to end the money stress, guys, and start taking back your health, is to commit to fixing the root issue. Commit to fixing the root issue. So what I mean is, don't just address the behaviors, right? So like, a lot of people think it's like, oh, well, I'll just cut up my credit cards. That's like, again, if you're an alcoholic, just saying, I'm going to throw out all the beer in my fridge and that'll fix the problem. That's insane, right? Like, that's dumb. But guys, that's what so much of the advice out there. It's like, just address the behaviors, right? Like, just get an accountability partner with your, with your budget, guys. Like, that's great. And so like, what happens when your accountability partner, like, they're not there anymore? Like, and even like, or someone make someone force you to do it. It's like, and ultimately, guys, that is, again, it's just another one of those ways where it's an external fix, but it's not changing who you are from the inside out to make you want to do these things or follow through with these sorts of things, right? So again, you can cut up, you do all of these things. You can create these saving apps on your phone and have a different thing to force you to save money, things like that. But guys, ultimately, that those things don't work. You guys know they don't work. You can't just like address the external issues, and just say, okay, I'm not going to drive past this area of town, or I'm going to just, I'm going to like hide my cards and not let my spouse, like I'm only going to take cash, or, and I'm never going to let them like give me more than $50 at a time, guys. Like, baby, like having to babysit your spouse or be babysat or things like that, or, or again, all these external different things. It's not addressing the root issues. Like even again, like we talk about all of the other ways that people do it through like, I'll just do debt consolidation, or maybe I'll file for bankruptcy, or maybe I'll just do like credit management, or I'm going to do all these different things, guys. All this stuff, again, it's external. It's something outside of you that's basically like, it's not fixing the root issue of like, I don't know how to handle and manage my money, right? Like you don't know how to actually master what's already coming in. You don't know how to be able to actually make more of it so that you can put more of it toward the debt and toward the savings and towards the things that will give you less stress when you have those problems out of your life, right? Like those sorts of things, like the things that actually help you communicate with your spouse. If you guys are terrible at communicating, just splitting up your finances or just like not talking about it or ignoring it, that never works. It is a surfacey fix, right? It's a fix until, again, you realize we're still judging each other. We're still frustrated. We're still bitter. We're still resentful. There's still no trust. And eventually you end up blowing up and snapping again, guys. So guys, the root issue is like the thing here is you have to address the root issues, right? So in other words, like you need to address and decide, okay, I'm going to get mastery over my money. I'm not just going to do a bunch of surfacey fixes. I'm going to I'm going to get in the driver's seat of my finances, and like, I'm going to sit down, I'm going to figure, and I'm going to get complete control of the money that's coming in, right? So guys, again, you can talk about making more money to get money stress out of your life. But guys, even then, I've worked with people that are making tens of thousands of dollars a month, and they're still in the poorhouse. They're still behind. They still have a negative net worth because ultimately they have so much debt. They're putting so little toward it and so little toward savings because they're spending it on all of these different things, and they have no idea where the heck it's going. There's no plan for it. So guys, again, if you have no plan for your money, if you're just sitting around wondering where the heck did my money go at the end of the month, guys, it's just gonna escape you. It's gonna literally be death by 1,000 different cuts, like all of the different spending. And it's crazy how many people we see just in the first month of like really evaluating where they're at strategically, like where's my money going? What like is like getting clear on that, like getting on the same page of like, where are you spending? Where am I spending? What's going on here? Like getting a clear like path on like what's going on, guys. That is so important because again, you can make more money, but it has to be on the foundation of getting it what you've got under control so that you're not bleeding out, you're not overspending, and that you guys actually have mastery over the current financial situation. Okay. So again, like with every single couple that we see, once you even just get that under control, every person that we see, guys, we're talking at least 500 typically, on average, usually about 1,000, but even more for people that they can finally just, even if some people like you've been overspending by $1,000 a month, when you really break it down, it's like just getting to stop the overspending. It's like, oh my gosh, just stopping the bleeding, knowing that, okay, we're not getting any worse trouble. It is so like, it just, again, it takes your stress levels down so much. And we tell people, guys, like that's really the first step, because if you just rush to trying to make a bunch of money and stuff to fix it, guys, what happens is, again, the creative parts of your brain are physiologically are not working as well when you're living in a stress state. So when you can get like the foundation of your money where it's like, okay, we have a plan for it. We're both 100% on the same page. We're excited about where it's going. We know all of our bills are going to be paid. We know exactly where, which bills, like are going to get paid from what. And like, we don't have to worry about that. We have a plan. Another thing is, again, knowing how to budget and plan in a way where you actually can prepare for the unexpected things that would typically throw people off. Like when you've got all that stuff in place and you're good, like guys, oh my gosh, you can breathe better. It just gives you so much more peace of mind. And then that's where, again, we take people and say, okay, now that we've got that foundation, now let's look at, actually making more money. But again, even with that, guys, where a lot of people go wrong is they're just like, any way that they can make a quick buck, delivering pizzas, things like that, they're going to do it. And we were so funny. We were talking to one of our clients today in one of our meetings. We were all getting together as a group, and he was like, I did the math. And he's like, I realized that on this job, I made basically $800 to $1,000 an hour. And I just laughed at him and I was like, but you probably should have went and delivered pizzas or driven Uber. And it was so funny because he laughed because he's like, actually, back in the day, I thought about that. I thought about driving Uber. And it's like, but as we've been helping them to get mastery over their money, to like, just really build it out in a way that they love it, that works for them, like giving them the right like mental fortitude and the strength and that's the way of thinking that you need to have as a powerful business leader and as a person. Like when he's finally got these things under control, it's like, now it's like, oh my gosh, I just made like $800 to $1,000 an hour on this job. Like I really just kind of set it up, designed it, they did the work, and it was great. And it was amazing. But like ultimately, he had to get that foundation first. And so he got the foundation first with that, got the foundation first with their communication, right? When you're married, it's like they got the foundation with their marriage and their communication so that that wasn't a stressor anymore. Because again, even with that, guys, if you're still like battling like this all the time, it puts you in stress, it puts you in fight or flight. Like, guys, your marriage has to be one of peace if you really, really, truly want to have the level of stress like free out of your life that you want. It's like not everyone can have it. We talk to a lot of people where it's like they're doing it, but their spouse is still like, ain't gonna want to, don't want to fix this, don't want to do it for now. But guys, what I'm telling you is that like at least if you can have the peace on your end and the part of finances that you're managing, oh my gosh. Oh my gosh, it gives you so much peace and it does start to transform the marriage because when you know how to be the best version of you with your finances and just in general in life, when like you're showing up grateful and joyful and excited and full of peace, because your finances are under control, it does transform your dynamic in your relationship. It changes who you are. And you notice that even your marriage, if you're married, is starting to transform, is starting to take you on a whole new shape. And so, guys, like that's the amazing part of it as well. But guys, it's not just that. It's like you have to also know as you're committing the root issues, also realizing a lot of you guys have an income problem, right? And so what a lot of people try to do is again, you try to work all these side hustles, things like that, start a multi-level marketing thing. I can't tell you how many people ask us like, is this a multi-level marketing thing? I'm like that we do. I'm like, no. I was like, we're not like, I mean, if you want to be good at multi-level marketing, we have people that like, they take like the concepts that we're using and a lot of them end up doing well necessarily with that. But it's like, but I'm not like teaching how to start a multi-level marketing business, but it's just so funny. It's like, you know, so many people think you have to do all these different things that you really don't want to do. And it's like, if you want to do that, that's fine. But really, guys, like you have to discover, like, what is it that brings me joy? What do I get excited about? Like, you have to be focused on your area of expertise, your area of like that you love, that you were excited about, that's something that is ultimately energizing for you and is passionate. And guys, if you do not love the way that you're making income, especially if you need to make an additional income, you are going to sabotage yourself all day long. You will eventually give up. You will eventually not enjoy it. And so again, guys, even your mindset and your beliefs around your income, what you're capable of and what you want have to shift. Your belief about you have to, your belief about your capabilities, because even then you can't make more money unless you believe you're capable of it. And we have so many people where it's like, I don't believe I can have the money that I want. And if I did have to, and if I was going to get that much money, it would destroy my family. It would destroy my life. I would be stressed out all the time. I wouldn't do it. And guys, like, listen, you're going to resist the things that you think are going to bring you pain. That's just the way God desired and wired your brain. Okay. You know, designed and wired your brain. So what I'm saying, guys, is even then, so many of the things keeping you from getting the income that you want, it's not even mainly strategy for most people. It's because there are so many things going on in how you're living emotionally, if you're living with anxiety and stress and fatigue, if you don't know how to clear those things, especially around your money, it's going to keep you from earning more. But not just that, guys, it's when it comes to your ability to grow wealth, your ability to make more money, when you don't have the belief, when you don't have the certainty, you're not even going to try it. And anything that you try, it's going to rob you and steal you of your effectiveness. Right, guys? So like you can churn and burn all day long, but if you don't know how to have the right energy about it, if you don't know how to have the right focus about it, if you don't know how to have the right support to be successful with it, guys, it will ultimately, you will burn out. And we see so many people, they do these sorts of things and do all these little, you know, jobs and different, you know, things, even things that they love to do, but ultimately they didn't have the right psychology behind it. And it caused them to suffer. And even then, a lot of times when they're married, we notice that when the marriage is still severely broken and not together, that even a lot of times for those people, it causes just one more pain point, one more stressor. So guys, anything that you're going to do, anything that you do to finally like fix the stress, it has to be fixing the root issues of your pain. It has to be. You cannot like just doing all these external different fixes. Like you have to be empowered. Now, what I'm saying is like, obviously, guys, I'm a big believer in coaching. It's what I do for a living, right? So I believe in external coaching and support, but you need something that's going to empower you, right? Not somebody that's going to be like a drill sergeant screaming at your ear for the rest of your life to make you do something, you know, that's like, you know, withholding all the secrets. And it's like, you need somebody that is going to empower you and give you the tools and walk beside you and hold your hand to make sure that it's working for you, so that when you fall off the horse, you don't fall off for like a month or a year or a decade like most people, but like your foot doesn't even touch the ground, that like they can prop you back up, they can support you, so that even when you are stressed, so you are overwhelmed, somebody can be there to support you and to help you overcome it in a very quick matter. So, you know, way of doing that. So guys, that's one of the biggest reasons why I love what we do, is because it's not just about giving you guys the strategies, it's giving you the support to be able to help you not live in a stressed out state, in a state of anxiety and overwhelm, so that whatever you are doing, it's effective. But unfortunately, guys, most people never get anywhere with getting their money under control, getting their money coming, more money coming in, growing their wealth, because they don't know how to do it in a way that alongside of that eliminates the stress, eliminates the anxiety, eliminates the overwhelm, and makes it fun. Like there has to, like, guys, the reality is like growing wealth and getting out of debt, there is a cost, like in the sense that like it is going, like you're gonna have to pay the price. Like it's gonna require time, it's gonna require energy, it's gonna require sacrifice. But like we were talking with some of our clients today, it's like when you have the party and the price, or you invite a party to the price, it's like it becomes fun. So like the reality is, guys, all of our clients are working hard. Like nobody that you guys see on any of our stuff or interviews or things, which I need to do more of, but it's like I just need to get caught up. But it's like, whenever you do those, what the reality is, guys, all those people are working hard. None of those people are just sitting on their butts, just like, and we're doing all the work for them. Like we can't lift the weights for them. They're lifting the weights, but ultimately we're giving them the support they need to get the muscle and the resilience to be able to do that. There's always resistance in their life, but the reality is that we're teaching them how to overcome the resistance, the stress, the anxiety, the overwhelm, things like that. And, how to be in the resistance in your relationship so that you can ultimately now take the strategies and be successful with them. So guys, again, that is the missing key. So guys, whatever you're doing, you have to realize that if you have a system to deal with the underlying stressors, the anxiety, the things, and that really, guys, ultimately, again, our stressors and the emotions, they flow from our beliefs. So ultimately, what are you believing about your financial situation? What are you believing about your capability to fix it? What are you believing about, there's a gajillion different beliefs. Like, again, another one, we were just talking with one of our clients today. He posted in our group, he's like, I've always been afraid of having wealth because it would take me further away from God. It would distract me from God. So guys, listen, like every time then you would start to get wealth, it's going to cause him stress. He's going to resist it because he doesn't want to lose his relationship with God. He doesn't want to lose his connection with God. And so again, that was a safety, a protective mechanism for him. And so he finds himself constantly stressed, not just from the debt, but it's like a lose-lose situation. Like you're stressed out from the debt, but then the idea of gaining wealth and doing things like that causes you stress because you're thinking about losing your relationship with God. So guys, I'm just telling you that there are so many people ask, like, well, what exactly are you doing over the course of when you're working with people? And the reality is, guys, like every single person has their own stuff that they have to work through. Like, like we have a system and a strategy and a way for dealing with it. But the reality is, like, everybody is different. So you have to get your money under control. You have to be able to build wealth. You have to get on the same page with your spouse. If you're married, you have to be able to get on a plan. But guys, the reality is that none of that stuff works if the human part of all of that, the human element of that is not fixed. And so guys, again, everyone's got their own junk. Everyone's got the stuff that they're carrying, their self-belief that they don't have, their fear, their anxiety, their overwhelm, their cynicism, their skepticism, their, like all of the self-doubt, like we talk about, all of that stuff, guys, everyone carries with it. And if you don't know how to shed that stuff, that's why most every other thing out there that we've seen sucks and doesn't work, is because it's only dealing with it on like a mathematical level, mechanical level, and it's not dealing with it on a human level. So you have to get the support, somebody that can actually help you to overcome what is it that's keeping you from implementing the strategy. What is it that is keeping you from being effective when you do implement the strategy? Like when you have a decent strategy for getting out of debt, or you have a decent budget, or you have a decent avenue for making good money. What's keeping you from it actually being effective and being fun and being joyful and being something that makes you feel more alive and not something that feels more drained? You have to get to those root issues and you have to address that and commit to fixing that right away. So guys, if you need help with all those sorts of things, if you need help, first of all, again, you got to acknowledge it, right? So again, acknowledge it, address the coping mechanisms, but again, commit to getting, to address the root issues. And guys, again, just commit to getting help. So again, guys, if you need help to that, you can go to jeremykurlikowski.com and /apply. I think that's the right one. I haven't done that one for a while, but guys, the reason why I'm doing that is because we've worked with lots of single people before. But something that we're doing more now is we are actually working with more single people. So the main thing that we are working with is couples, but we wanted you guys to know that it is something, if you are single and if you are a single mom or you are a widow or you're widower, things like that, there just came a point where we sat down and we looked at everything and we realized, like, okay, wait a second, like pretty much everything that we're teaching, like 98% of this stuff applies for single people too. And so that's one of the things we're doing. So the link, again, it's jeremykurlikowski.com /apply. If you're married, you can go to dreamteammarriage.com. Either way, it's going to send you to the same website. And guys, go on there, book a call. And again, we'll be there to support you guys and help you figure out what exactly is it that's keeping you stuck from being able to get where you want to be financially. And what do you guys need to fix it? What's a solid plan? But again, what are those underlying root issues that are keeping the strategies from being effective, the things that you've tried in the past. Because a lot of you guys have tried different things in the past. And you're like, I know this is kind of a good strategy or a good plan, but for some reason I can't stick to it or it doesn't work and I don't understand it. We'll talk about all that. We'll give you clarity around that. We'll give you a ton of value. And if we can help you guys fix that and finally take whatever you're working with and make it 1,000% better that actually is functional and get you where you want to be, or some even new things that you never discovered and you were out there, guys, we're going to implement that and we'll show you what it would look like to do that. And if we can help, we'll let you know. If not, we'll let you know that too. But either way, we will give you a ton of value and clarity to be able to do that. So, guys, again, if you need help with that, jeremykurlikowski.com/apply. I will leave the link here for you guys. And we're here to support you guys and help you guys finally fix this once and for all. So, again, guys, it was so great being on the show with you guys. It was so great being able to support you guys. And again, any questions that you have, leave a question, #replay for this. And again, guys, if you need help, here's how to do it. But again, guys, just going back again, acknowledge the pain, don't minimize it, acknowledge the stress, commit to fixing it is number 3. But again, number 2 is dealing with the coping mechanisms. 3 is, again, commit to fixing, address the root issues. And guys, for you guys, again, we talked about, you haven't tried everything like we talked about last time. A lot of you guys, I want to give you your hope back, because some of you guys are thinking, oh my gosh, Jeremy, I've tried everything. I feel hopeless. I feel like there's no way to fix this. And guys, the reality is, give yourself back your power. Give yourself back some hope. You haven't tried everything. Have you ever worked with an expert? Have you ever had someone in your corner who's like with you every single round, who's like there to, again, like every time you fall, to help you back up? If you trip, they can put you on their back and walk you across the minefield so you don't step on one of those suckers that could blow you up. It's like, have you ever had someone like that who really cares and really loves and has the expertise? I would venture to guess no. So never know we've ever talked to who has. So again, guys, you haven't tried everything. Like, really commit to getting support, getting the best out there of people that deliver, that get results. Again, any of you guys have been watching this, you know we deliver, you know we get results. Just get help and reach out, and let's see if we can help you guys. So jeremykurlikowski.com/apply. Or again, if you're married, you can go to dreamteammarriage.com. It's going to send you the same website. And either way, guys, we will help you guys and support you guys and get you to where you want to be financially. So have a great night, guys. It's great being with you. Thanks for tuning in on today's show. And we will be with you guys on another show coming up here soon. So talk to you guys soon. Bye.